HarperCollins presents The Making of Her, Why School Matters, written and read by Clarissa Farr. Forward. Coming back from teaching to my office, I find an intricate, pop-up paper sculpture made from the insides of a book, perching like a curious bird on my desk, with a note from the artist. Meanwhile, shock netball match result against a team we were certain to beat reverberates around the building. A tutor reports that a head of peacock blue hair has materialised in the lower fifth. Surely it was brown yesterday. And we discuss whether this requires a response. On results day, a girl is face down on the marble concourse after it emerges she has a near-disastrous GCSE profile of 9 A stars and 1 A. 4 of our youngest girls come to see me to ask if I can be filmed saying the first word that comes into my head when they say Paulina. Independent. And, just after Christmas, my urgent attention is required by parents whose daughter has been offered a place at the wrong Oxbridge College. What, Miss Farr, are you going to do about it? Such are the fragments that make up the life of a headmistress. But how to capture them? The headlong nature of schools means I could do little more than fire off the occasional letter to the Times from my iPhone while heading towards the Great Hall of St. Paul's to take assembly, scribbled notes flying. And even if I could set them down, would anyone be interested? School. The word conjures a world at once so familiar as to be hardly worthy of comment, much less a book, but at the same time often attended with emotion. For some, affection and nostalgia. For a few, sadly, hostility and anger. There are those for whom school was a mixed or even traumatic experience, those for whom it was mainly rather dull, and equally, there are some for whom nothing has ever been quite as much fun since. This book is for anyone who has been to school. I invite you to go back in time to that unique and personal world, to walk the academic year with me, and to reconnect in memory with the teachers, places and habits that were yours. This isn't meant as therapy, you understand. How would I presume to offer that? I've been lucky. Happy for the most part at school in Somerset. I've expunged the memory of diving into the freezing outdoor pool in April. And apart from the equally icy coldness of the billowing, black-clad nuns at my convent primary school, my school days were far from traumatic. But whatever our recollection of school, to revisit that impressionable time is to understand better who we have become and why. And the more we can turn our education to good account in the present, the more we can help our children, whose adult lives will be so different from ours, to do the same. School came to mean something different when I became a teacher. Not through a high-minded desire to serve the next generation, but because, while putting the finishing touches to my MA dissertation, I was, somewhat pretentiously, obsessed by the novels of Henry James. Live all you can. It's a mistake not to, he writes in The Ambassadors. And I wanted to do so. This meant finding an excuse to go on reading James while being paid, and, if possible, persuading my students of the unrivalled brilliance of these works. In practice, as a teacher, I rarely touched on his labyrinthine novels. Most of my pupils would have been escaping through the doors or windows before I reached the end of the first attenuated, periodic, excruciatingly Jamesian sentence. Instead, I was surprised to find I liked the company of my students for its own sake. Their quick-wittedness, their irreverence, their refusal to be impressed. I began my working life in the ordered world of Farnborough Sixth Form College. The students were bare
Sample complete. Ready to continue?